So we have set up our machine. It is all threaded and calibrated. We've chosen our stabilizer and hooped up our fabric in our hoop. So we are ready to stitch out a design. So when we turn on our machine and have the embroidery unit connected, it's automatically going to be in embroidery mode. So the very first thing we'll do is actually put our hoop on, because our machine will want it to be connected when we start to edit, so we might as well just put it on right now. So quick review, this is the hoop connector right here. So that's going to snap into the hoop connection assembly on the embroidery arm. When you put the hoop on, you want to make sure that the presser foot is up and out of the way so we don't crash into that with the hoop. So I'm going to go ahead and just gently slide the hoop on. And if you need to, you can even lift the presser foot a little bit further just to get the hoop under it, like that. So now I'm going to slide the hoop connector right into the connection assembly, and you want to make sure that it snaps all the way in so that the machine knows that the hoop is connected. Alrighty, so let's take a look now at our screen. This is the home screen that opens in your embroidery mode. So the top is your embroidery designs and the bottom one is your embroidery fonts. So let's take a look at the fonts first, really quickly. You have all of these awesome fonts that you can use to personalize your projects and type out words. So they're pretty straightforward. It's typing, everyone's used to typing. So this is how you would navigate there. To go back home, we're going to click the home button right here. That'll take us back to the first screen. So we are going to go ahead and choose an embroidery design first from the USB stick. You can choose a design either from the stick or from the machine. So let's go over how to choose one from the stick first. The stick is going to go in the USB port, which is right on the side. There's a little hatch right here that opens up. And there's a USB port. It's just like a computer. You're going to plug it right in there, just like that. So now we'll go and we'll choose embroidery design from the menu, which is the top button. And you'll see it opens a screen with some numbers. So down here we have the option to choose from the built-in designs on the machine and the USB stick. So we're going to go ahead and pick the USB stick. So you'll see a couple different folders. As a reminder, your USB stick has PDFs of the designs, both kind of a book where you can view them all quickly, and individual printouts that will give you information about design size and thread color and color order, so you know what thread colors are what on your designs. So those you can view on your computer. To get to the embroidery designs, we are going to go to Design Data, which is this middle folder, and then we'll click OK. So all of the designs have numbers, so we're just going to choose the range of numbers that include the design we want. So I know that we're going to do design 111. So I'm going to go ahead and open that, and then I'll select design 111 and click OK. And you'll see a design loads. It says stress form, stitch out right there. So that's how you would choose from a USB stick. To choose a built-in design, we're going to go ahead and go back to the home screen. We're going to click our embroidery design again, and we're going to make sure that the little machine is selected in the bottom. And then we're going to type in our design number. So our design number is 60 that we're going to stitch out. So I'm going to type 60 and click OK. So there is my design that's loaded. So now let's go through and talk about all of these different menus here. The first menu that will open is the position menu. So this is how you control where your design is in the hoop. So you can use these arrows to move the design up and down and right and left. And to get back to center, if you decide you don't want to actually move your design around, you'll hit this button. And if any of these arrows just sort of get to a certain number and then stop working when you push them, it's probably because your design is at the edge of the hoop and you can't move it any further one way or another. The second menu is the rotate menu. So the rotate menu is going to allow you to rotate your design. So you can rotate in increments of 90 degrees if you push this icon right here, and you'll see that the machine at the top is showing you the orientation of your design so that you know kind of which way your design is facing, and it also tells you how much you've rotated. You can also mirror your design, so top to bottom, like that, or left and right, which is the second button right there. The third button is the scale button. So this is how we can control the size of our design. You can scale up and down 20% in 5% increments. And again, this can be kind of limited by the size of your design versus the size of your hoop. If your design is already pretty big, then you probably might not be able to scale it all the way up because it's reached its maximum size. So if it's beeping at you, that's probably why. So if you decide that you don't want to scale it and just want to go back to default, you can click that button and it'll go back to 0% scaling. This fourth window is going to give you some information about your embroidery and your stitch out. So this first button shows you your hoop size. So we have the 260 by 150 hoop on there. This is the design trace button. So this is going to toggle through the needle positions on the corners of your embroidery design and the center. So this can help you make sure that you have your fabric hooped up exactly the way you want it, because you can see where all the corners of your design are going to land physically, because the hoop's actually going to move through them and show you exactly where they're going to be. The third button is the baste function. So if you remember in the stabilizer episode, I talked about basting, and also in the hooping episode for the hoopless embroidery. So the baste function will put a square of basting stitches around your embroidery design. So if your fabric is a little bit wiggly, or if you just want to make extra sure that your design will be stable and flat, then you can activate the baste function and put a row of basting stitches, a square of basting stitches around your design. And the final button in this screen is the monochrome button. So if you have a multi-color design and you decide you just want to stitch it out in one color and not have it stop and tell you to change thread colors, you can select that and activate it, and it will stitch out in just one thread color. The final screen here is going to give you some info about the place that your machine is in the stitch out. So the first set of numbers shows you how many stitches are left in your current thread color and how many stitches are left total. So these numbers are going to count down as you start embroidering. The second set of numbers gives you your thread color information, so it's telling you that it's on thread color 1 of a total of 2 thread colors. And remember, again, you can look up the thread color information on your printouts. The PDFs that come on the USB stick will give you all the info you need about thread colors, so you know which colors come first and second and third, etc. Alrighty, so we are all set. We're ready to stitch out. So I'm going to go over to the needle, and I need to make sure that my presser foot is down before I stitch out, just like if you were sewing. And then I'm going to push the start stop button, and it's going to start embroidering. So it stops in the very beginning and gives you an icon with scissors on it, and it's telling you to cut the thread tail. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I sometimes like to raise the presser foot a little just so you can reach the thread tail a little bit better. But we can cut it right at the fabric. Make sure you don't cut your needle thread. And I'll put the presser foot back down. I'll click OK on the screen, and I'll push start stop to keep going. So our first color just finished stitching out. So on the screen it's telling you to change the thread colors to the second thread color. So to do that, first we're going to put our presser foot up, and we'll take off our first color. And then I'm going to re-thread the needle, and it's just like a normal threading. You don't really have to do anything special. So I'm going to put my thread on. I will follow the thread path and make sure to get it in the thread guide at the top of the needle, and then use my needle threader to thread through the eye of the needle. So once you've changed your thread color, we can start the second color stitching. So I'm going to put my presser foot down, and I'm going to hit the check mark on the screen and then push the start stop button. And it's going to do the same thing. It'll start stitching a little bit and then tell me to trim my thread tail. So again, I'll lift my presser foot, I'll cut my initial thread tail, and then put my presser foot back down. So I'll click OK, and now I can keep embroidering my second thread color. So I'll just push the start button again. So let's pretend that our thread broke or our thread ran out, something happened in the middle of our design. There's a way to easily fix this. You don't have to panic. So if we look down here, you can see our machine is stopped and I've raised my presser foot, and we cut the thread just to pretend that the thread broke. So what we're going to do first is you would want to pull out any loose thread that's still in your needle in your machine, and then we're just going to rethread the top thread just like normal, so nothing special here. Make sure your presser foot is up when you're rethreading. And I will use my needle threader. So it's always a good idea, if you are restarting right in the middle of a design, to go back a few stitches. That's because you want a seamless restart. So if you kind of overlap your stitching a little bit, you make sure that you don't have any gaps or blank spots in your embroidery. So I'm going to look on the screen right here. This is where we're going to use our stitch position. So this is telling you what stitch you're on, and you can toggle backwards and forwards. So I'm actually going to back up about 3 stitches or so, and the hoop is going to move. So now I'm back a little bit in my design, and I am sure that when it starts stitching, it'll overlap the part that it didn't finish stitching. So I'm going to go ahead and put the presser foot down, and I will push start stop. It's going to stop again and tell me to trim my thread tail since I'm starting new. So I did that, and now I'm going to put my presser foot down and just keep going like nothing happened. So our machine is all done embroidering, so I'm going to go ahead and take the hoop off. So I'm going to put my presser foot up, and then I'm going to find the connection assembly and push on the release lever, and then gently slide the hoop towards me. And remember, you can raise the presser foot lever even further just to help get the hoop off. And here is my beautiful finished embroidery. So now you guys know all the basic stuff you need to get started embroidering. Don't forget to check out your manual too, because there's tons more information in there about the embroidery mode and the sewing mode of your machine. Thanks for watching, and have fun embroidering!